So now we join our Tommnians as they travel towards their new nest. They are following the migratory patterns of many other animals that are on this planet. As you can see, the cute little subject of our story today is taking a leisurely stroll with his friend that he picked up last chapter. They peacefully make their way to their new nest so that they can lay future eggs and ensure the dominance of their race. As he continues along the path, he is enjoying the rather nice weather, with the soft grass in between his new toes and the stars shining their light from above. And he sees the new nest as he approaches them with glee, and together they yell these stupid songs of their people that sound like donkeys, and they stomp their feet and rub their feet, and eventually green magic spews out and gives them a much larger nest. Elated with joy, he's now found his new home. Eager to make friends, he sees a rival pack running by, but alas, they do not feel the same for him. He is angry with them and wishes to attack, to make sure that his home nest is safe. But when he realizes that the little blue fellows that are nearby are also not fond of his appearance, he runs away, seeing he was clearly outmatched. But he notices a singular one, Babs. He notices a singular Babs away from the rest of the pack and takes advantage of this situation. Running at the speed of 3 wolves, he strikes with his great fists and bite with his great teeth, and his friend is more than eager to join him. Although it may seem he is fighting a losing battle, him and his friend quickly overcome this Babs and take him down, earning a new mouth to be able to use by the evolutionary gods. Feasting upon his victory, his friend chooses a more healthy option of fruit to then come back to the carcass. And hoping that he is not alone, he goes to friend these Vogels. Displeased with his initial presence, he soon changes their mind. Copiously singing along with their ability and surpassing them in dance skills, he easily is able to make friends with them, and they are more than happy. But beware, for from the comes a mean-looking beast, the man-bird. He is not pleased with the little Vogels that are around, and they are all cowering in fear below this great creature's might, for this creature is far more evolved than any of them. And I, this Tommnite, sensing the danger, is leaving, for he does not wish to be next on this creature's menu. And so he leaves, while they try to stop him, and as bad as he may feel, he continues to scavenge the bones for something that he may be able to use on his own in the future. Seeing the Babs that initially attacked him before, he tries to rekindle the friendship. He summons his friends so that the Babs may try and out-impress us. Again, he responds with singing very similar to the Vogel. But unfortunately, the singing power of the Babs is just too much for our poor little Tommnians here, and he is unable to make friends with them. He tries again, hoping for a different result. He may call this insane, but he has hope. Hope is not insanity. Seeing that the hope is futile, he just leaves. He realizes that it's a lost cause, but now stumbles upon a new species, the Shadows. A rather interesting, curious species. They are a simple folk and they live on top of the hill. And trying to gain their trust by surpassingly singing them and equaling their dancing skill, he easily piques their interest, and they are curious to see what this new beast who has stumbled upon their nest is like. And so now he goes to a different one to try and befriend them further. Singing past their ability and also matching their dancing, he yet again makes a flawless exposition digging up more bones and finding more pieces to be able to use in his evolutionary puzzle. He talks to the shadows once more to try and negotiate a truce, and they respond happily. Now they are friends, or allies, if you so please to say. And now he wishes one to be part of his pack, for he says farewell to his friend from the nest, his bosom brother, if you will, to now ally this shadow to be able to assist him in any further need that he may have. He agrees to travel with him, and he now has a new friend. Elated, they celebrate together by eating fruit. But our Tommnite soon realizes that unfortunately this little shadow does not eat fruit. While enjoying its succulent juices, he decides to go find another place where maybe he can provide his new friend with some meat. And as he travels along the beaten path, he notices these skimpy little bitches. They are not as strong, and so he attacks. He easily overpowers these omnivores, these template-type creatures. Not even evolved what appears to be a cell. But something has happened. He notices more things, he sees more colors. His brain has become larger, allowing for more knowledge to be poured into his ever so small brain. Look at that smile. Idiot. With a larger brain and more capacity for knowledge, he continues to hunt these small little creatures, as all appeasing for his new friend Shadow. While those other ones try to run, Shadow tries to reason with him, but he pulls past him, and with the speed of 10 horses, he attacks. And in the distance, he sees a rather curious sight. These one-armed, one-legged pigs. They seem to be known as tard asses. A rather mindless folk. They do not tempt, and they do not attack. They are neutral in this whole situation, and most likely shall remain. And now to wipe out the final omnivore, him and his friend go to town with the child running away, scared for his life. He does not need to worry, for he transcends in a helicopter-like fashion to the heavens. And together, shadows and Tommnites feast upon the meat of their enemies. It is raining now, and checking upon his evolutionary chain, he is quite alright. He goes to befriend these tardasses when he notices something. He notices this punk bird going towards the same place, albeit this bird has much darker intentions. But seeing the potential in a relationship with these very powerful birds, he tries to make amends, and tries to befriend them. By calling to his friendship, they both perform a charm on each other. Unfortunately, the Shadows does not know how to use a charm, but they both can surpass him in dance, as a tardass hops stupidly past them. Surpassing him once again in dance, they form a small alliance with the punk bird. Finding the punk bird's nest was not much of a challenge, for he showed them the way, where they can go friend others of the species. Noticing the threat on the side there, he runs away as fast as he can, for he does not wish to be that creature's next lunch. He makes a leisurely stroll, walking in a giddy fashion, as you can see, moving his arms up and down. He takes a leisurely stroll to the punk bird nest, where they eagerly await him. And as he finds this punk bird that he wishes to friend, the punk bird calls his allies to test his true ability. Barely keeping up with their 3 and his 2, he cannot match their incredible singing ability. Their vocals are way too developed past his, and it is unfortunate for he cannot ally with them. Though not opposed to the idea, they hold out for a future time. And realizing that some of his abilities are not up to par, he goes back to his home to mate and try and evolve and improve himself. Hopefully, to one day say that he can become part of the Punk Birds. Taking a leisurely stroll back to his home nest, he walks with his friend Shadows, who is quite faster than he. But he feels that Shadows doesn't take the time to just look around and enjoy his surroundings. Suffering a minor leg fracture, he is quite alright, and he continues his trip back to his nest. Shadows, morphing through the base of a tree, is quite excited to finally see how the Tommnians engage in their mating procedures. Approaching the nest, the Tommnite realizes that something is amiss. There is no one at his nest. Worried, he calls again. And behind him, he sees his mate. Excited, he gets it on. A Bates comes to try and disrupt it, but sees what's going on and backs away. And now after the mating dance is performed, he goes to lay the egg. Let us see what wonders wait inside this egg of his. That is certainly different than any egg I've ever seen. An entire ecosystem inside. I'm quite impressed. With floating faces, and this is all, it looks like a very fleshed out user interface actually. Which is a very technologically advanced egg. But seeing that this mouth is the future of his race, he chooses to evolve his child with that. As time slowly passes, he makes the child more favorable to the environment around him, giving him eyes that could stare into the bodies of celestial beings, eyes that would make a mother proud. Deciding they are too big, he continues to edit and shape his son like a big blob of clay, and wishing him to have better hands for the future, and better feet. But alas, the DNA that he had within that egg is not enough to be able to supply with a whole change of feet. For there would not be much data left for him to be able to give him the newest and best feet. So he must stick with the ones he has for now. But it is okay, for there is always the future. And now he gives him hands that are good at lockpicking. And the monster is happy. Excuse me, I had an itch. Wanting his future generations to be able to reach the sky, he tries to give them more improved wings. But unfortunately, that is not gonna happen. For the wings that are newer to him are foreign and cost too much data of the DNA. Moving the spikes to a more prominent position for charging, he decides that this is the best way to go. And so, as we bring our chapter to a close with this new evolution of a young Tommnite, ready to spread his metaphorical and physical wings into the new world, he is born with a new Shadows to be his bosom buddy. Rejoiced, he enters adulthood, and so will begin the next chapter of this beautiful creature's adventure. Hope you enjoyed this chapter of Fireside, and we'll see you next time with his friend dancing.